Good morning. Thanks for coming again. Uh, I hope that you like my Polynesian tattoo today. This is the only kind that my wife allows me to wear. Um, I am. I learned a lot from George Burns because he said a good speech or program is the one that can have a very good beginning and very good ending, and the two together as close to each other as possible. So today is going to be that way, but it's really funny because one of the reasons I became a teacher, I really wanted to open orphanages in the Middle East because I know how situations were bad for the little children in there. And I couldn't do it because of the life circumstances, so I took it teaching as the second option. And I believe that we make a living by what we get, we make a life by what we give. So this is what I became a teacher. And I love what I do, and wonderful people like you make my life and make my presentation much, much better because I learn from every one of you, and that's wonderful. A couple of things I have to mention. There was there's an older, wonderful, lovely, loving couple that they were dancing and everything. I admire. Are they in the crowd by any chance? Can you show by? No, they are not. Are they here, the couple? Okay. I want to give you one of my book as a gift because you folks were wonderful, absolutely a symbol of loving and caring for each other, and that was just terrific. And because they say that you can't stop playing because you are old. You get old if you stop playing. And I learned a lot from you. And make sure that you give me your address because all of my books are gone. And we're asking all of the people that they ordered the books to check the list one more time so I can email it today just to make sure the zip code and everything is right. And I will give you one of my personal business cards. If by any chance it was lost in the mail or something, we'll send you again. And that would I want to make sure that you get those books if you request it. Um, I had a wonderful friend in the United States. He passed away 2 years ago, and he was very good to me. As a matter of fact, he was the one. Now, he and his wife both, they were my sponsors in America to get citizenship. So we were together a lot, and we took a lot of trips together. He always gave me a great deal of advice. One of the advice that he gave me, again, this is related to the English. One of the advice he gave me when I was marrying my American wife, and he said, Firuz, I want to give you one good piece of advice. I said, what is that? He said, on our wedding night, I brought my pants and I let Lita May to wear it. I said, wear this. And she said, I cannot wear that. And I said, just remember who's going to be wearing the pants in this house. He said, just remember. I thought that, well, I will do the same thing. That sounds pretty good idea. And on my wedding night, I did the same thing to my wife. And he just, as I said this thing, she went to her closet and brought her pants. She said, you wear this. And I said, I cannot fit in it. He said, well, if you want to be that kind of pompous ass, you're never going to get in my pants. Now, how to get in anybody's pants? My interest in Paul Gauguin is not the artistic part of it, because I'm not an artist, I cannot even draw a straight line. My interest is his life story, struggles he had, and the really painful journey that he had in his life. And I recommend every one of you, if you're in the internet, Google it and read more about his life. It's fascinating. It really is fascinating. But my family all were artists. They are musicians and everything. I was the only dumb athlete that I didn't know anything except chasing a ball. Unfortunately, Paul Gauguin didn't have a grandmother like me to pull it through the things that he did. So his life never ended to be happy. But if that is one thing that I wish he would have had, someone like a valuable one like my grandmother. So I'm going to start my good beginning with the Polynesian song a little bit, just a short song of Polynesian. This is a mother and a son singing, and you can see just the style is interesting. And then one dance Polynesian group that they won the gold medal in the entire French Polynesia for their dances. Then I will go to Paul Gauguin. Then I'm going to finish it with something as a memory of this trip that I think you would like it.
Aue o ie, nawe nawe taa e torima, ia puru mai ta I te mono I ai. Nawe nawe taa e torima, ia puru mai ta I te mono I e. Ai e, awe ha, ai e. Mama, mama, ai te ai hope. A hori tau tino, te au mai rā. E pai, te pito ana eia. Te mauto mi te Tātou poro ai te ieru I e Tau a whauwha a te mono I E mana tō roto I ana ai e Ai
How was that for a good start? Thank you. Thank you. This, I can go back to my business in here. Eugene Henry Paul Gauguin was a leading French post impressionist. He was an important figure not only as a painter, but also as sculptor, printmaker, ceramist, and writer. In addition, he is remembered as the first person who started wood carving and wood engraving as form of art. He was born in Paris, France in 7th of June 1848, and he died in Marquesas Island when he was 54 years of age in May 8, 1903. His father, Clovis, a radical journalist in France. I don't have to explain that, but he was the fox of France at that time. His mother, Elena Marie Chazelle, was a Peruvian socialist. So the combination in there was really, really unbelievable, always in a turmoil. In 1851, when he was 3 years old, because of the political situation in France, they moved to Peru. He was 3 years old when they were moving, and in that trip, his father passed away, and he left his sister, Paul, and his mother to fend for themselves. They lived 4 years in Lima, Peru, with his uncle and his family, and that is where he learned how to speak Spanish. At the age of 7, the family came back to France and lived with their grandfather. He soon learned to learn French and do very well in school. At age of 17, he went to Merchant Marine to do his military service, and 2 years later, he joined the army or the navy, but he just didn't fit in any of these places. When he was 23 years old in Paris, he became a very, very successful stockbroker. And later, 2 years later, he married his wife, a Danish woman named Mette Sophie Gad. Over 10 years, he had a wonderful life, and he lived in a very prominent part of Paris, outside and in the very well neighborhood, and had a great life. And started painting at that time. That was the time that the good life gave him the opportunity to start painting, and he started painting. And I want to show you the picture of his wife. And let me just 1 second, please. This is called Madame Gauguin, and everything went down to hell. As a matter of fact, excuse my language, saying that because of the stock market crash in 1882. So he lost his job. He tried to make a living just by painting and everything. He moved from France to Normandy to see if they can have a little simpler life, still can provide for his family. But because of the bankruptcy and the financial situation at that year or the years after, he just never made it. His friend, I know, I don't know how many of you heard of Vincent van Gogh, and they were good friends, and they started painting together for some time. And they both were very, because nothing was selling, they both were very depressed, extremely depressed. And increasingly, even though, let me just say this, just show a couple in here. Even though his early paintings were painting in France with their culture and their scenery and their landscape and their lifestyle, he just changed to primitive painting, and he tried to find a life someplace that he can go away from the European civilization, because he just was not fitting in there. By the way, it got so rough for him that they moved to Denmark to live with his wife's family. He had 5 children in there, and he tried to make a life in Denmark. That didn't happen for him either. So he came back to France, and he left his children and his wife in Denmark, and they went back to their home. He was penniless. In 1986, he almost starved to death. Van Gogh and Paul Gauguin both tried to commit suicide because the life was so hard for them. They just didn't, but it didn't work, so they went on with their daily life. He even worked as a construction laborer in Panama Canal just to make some money to send to his family. He only lasted 2 weeks. They fired him. I mean, you can see those talented fingers and everything, and working in the construction, probably he couldn't hack it, and they gave him the axe. In 1891, frustrated, came back to France again. Again didn't work. Then he tried to come to Polynesia and to just get away from conventional life. And practically, he found Tahiti a heaven. His life in Tahiti is a subject of argument. A lot of people hate what he did in there. A lot of people love. And basically, because of his alleged sexual relationship with 13, 14-year-old um, females. And it was really very difficult to say one way or the other. And now they have those of you that you were in Tahiti, if you visited Paul Gauguin's museum. Anybody visited Paul Gauguin's museum? None of those things are really original. They're just duplicate, and they are some documents and everything. Some of the early sketches, because most of his painting went all over the world and sold a great deal in museums all over the world. Believe it or not, the person who is starving to death and doesn't make any money, after his death, his paintings were worth 39.2 million American dollars. Isn't that the pits while you're alive? You have to, nobody appreciates you, and when you're dead, now they know what a great guy you are. I was wondered sometime because I've seen a lot of funerals. The people that they were the meanest person to the dead person give the nicest eulogies to them. Have you noticed that? Or am I the only one thinking that way? And he moved to Marchesi, and he died in there finally, and he died of syphilis. And a lot of people say that. Some people say no, he died of heart attack. I'm not a physician. Maybe syphilis will cause heart attack, and both groups are right. Or they just don't want to admit what happened to someone as important as he was. I'm going to show you some of his paintings that they are absolutely exceptional. And some of those paintings are now in one painting in particular. Let me see if I can get that one for you. In 1903, he became really upset, especially with the church, with the missionaries, and he just started saying things and doing things that they didn't like it, and he was charged to go to prison and give fine for 3 months. His body was so deteriorated from disease, from malnutrition, from all of the stress that he had, he died before he can perform his prison duty. The thing that I was trying to show you is he was starting to paint some yellow Jesus and this type of thing, and the missionaries didn't like it. He was really ousted in there. And another one that he started just questioning life, questioning the authorities and everything, because when you consider all of his life, with all of his talent, how miserable it was, it didn't really take him anywhere. So he was against, though they wanted to put him in prison. This particular picture, it's known as Where Do We Come From? Where are we? And where are we going? He painted this thing in 1897, and it is in Boston Museum of Fine Arts, and it's one of the most precious paintings that he had. Another thing that I was going to tell about him was he sold. It was so destitute. One of the dealers in France gave him 250 francs a month and 300 for every paintings. But that didn't really go anywhere. His paintings, especially now, oh, there was a Russian uh, collector. His name was, I know that I just don't want to pronounce it wrong. Sergei Shutskin. He bought a lot of his painting. A great deal of his paintings are in Russia. And most of his self-portraits and other things are all over the world. So it's very, 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 very famous now. I'm going to put a slideshow just for the memory of what you saw in French Polynesia and most of his paintings, the ones that I could get my hands on. So this is something to sit back, relax, and enjoy, and remember the wonderful sceneries you saw with some of his paintings. And then I will have some closing statements. This light, as bright as it is here, hot and everything, it's very hard for me to see my screen. Enjoy as a remembrance of your trip. All of the money your wife spent. Good thing to remember your trip. These are his paintings in France. They called this one While There Was Fruit on the Table. These are his primitive paintings. Hunting on the beach. His self-portraits. That was where he was a stockbroker. How was that for a little reminder of your wonderful trip? And I hope that I will see you in more trips of Holland America, because it was to me, you made my life really, really very easy. Talking to you was no problem. I had a great time. You made my life as bright and as cheerful and as good as this artwork in Tahiti. And I am hoping that all of you, from the rest of the time that you walk out of here, your life be as cheerful, as bright, as happy as you made me. I'm really, really proud to be here. And I thought that this would be my last lecture, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say, I shouldn't complain. Some people wanted to talk or ask questions about Middle East. This is where I try to run away from. But tomorrow they are arranging a question and answer, not lecture, question and answer. If you have any questions about my lectures or Middle East, please come. If not, I'm just thrilled to see you here. Make sure, please make sure, those of you who have your name for the mailing, that the zip code is correct, the address is correct. My son-in-law is going to make sure to see that. And if you haven't paid me, well, that's not a very good thing. I don't want to be Paul Gauguin. I want to live. I really, really have to thank every single one of you for being you. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you did. Thank you.